Texans, baby. Texans. Yes, yes, yes. I had to gloat for a second because we don't often get this opportunity. But anyway, but more on this later. More on this later. You know I love my Texans. I'm a loyal queen to my Texans. Anyway, welcome to the Hot Seat with Holly Heath. This is episode 3 of season 3. It's like the golden episode, maybe. And I have my producer Corey here filling in for Elena as co-host today, and so ready to just jump right into it. There has been
Absolutely.
a barrage of sports news going on. We're going to start off with college football, though. So there's so many facets to what's going on right now. We have the playoffs, obviously. We have the championship coming up I believe, on the 21st is the championship game, which I don't even know that's given a bowl name anymore. I know the bowl names used to switch, but I'll get into that in a second when we talk about the revamp. And so we have Miami facing Indiana in the college football playoffs. And I don't think that this was like a matchup that many people saw coming. So, that can sometimes be problematic for college football because and actually for pro football, really any sports when it's like a couple of teams that maybe don't have big fan bases or people aren't just like super excited to watch. But I can say, even though I have ties to Indiana and I definitely want Miami to lose, I am excited to see this because you have the Heisman Trophy winner. You have like this coach that has been like memed out of control in Kurt Zignetti. And then you have Miami, which is like legendary. There is a lot of excitement actually around this game. And to have Indiana, which is known more for basketball, of course, go Hoosiers, to being all of a sudden relevant in football is like a story in and of itself. But the other storyline that kind of goes here, and I don't think, oh, you may have to correct me, Corey, if I'm wrong, because Miami's not in the SEC, is it?
No, no, man, it is not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, because I know, they keep adding teams, it's like
yeah,
the
true.
SEC and the Big Ten is like everybody else is just, we got the Big 12, the ACC, I don't know. Do we still have the Pac 10? The Pac 10 went away, right?
I
I'm
believe
not
it
sure.
was.
But
I had to check that myself.
so it's interesting because now the talking point is coming up that the SEC like isn't the juggernaut of college football anymore. And I personally don't like that because I'm an SEC baby. My mom went to Georgia. I went to A&M. My uncle went to Auburn. So I feel some type of way about the SEC not being like the top dog anymore. I mean, we know that we've always had like Ohio and Michigan in the mix who have always been like strong and in college football, but like people are like diminishing the importance of the SEC right now. But
Wait,
so I kind of feel some type of way, like even though I don't like a majority of the teams in the SEC because we have to compete against them, I'm feeling some type of way about our diminished power,
so
so to
I'll
speak.
I'll say that they still did have 5 of the 10 teams in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
five of the 10 teams, they were the top two, but they had 5 of the 10 teams in the playoffs. Um, or with 12 teams.
So maybe this narrative is just like not as, or maybe they made the other teams have made it further. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know how I feel about this narrative, and I definitely feel like the SEC has to like has something to prove to prove that we are the top dogs. Pun intended, no pun intended, Georgia. But I will say this. Okay, so there's this talk about, they just revamped the playoffs to include the 12 teams. It went from 4 teams to 12 teams. So they've expanded it and now there's this talk about 16 teams, but there's a lot of roadblocks getting there and they have to actually decide. I think the 23rd might be the deadline for them to decide if they're going to go to the 16 team model rather than the 12 team model. And I think the Big 10 is the conference that's pushing the 16 team model. But there's so many moving parts in this. And there's so many moving parts in college sports right now. So the hangups are, of course, media rights, because media rights are tied into these bowl games. So that's a big deal, which I don't know about you, but I barely know which bowl game is which anymore. And I know there's kind of like, they change the names sometimes and stuff like that. And, the ones that we remember are mainly like, the Peach Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl. Those
Yeah.
are the main ones that we remember. But this year, I couldn't even tell you. I think the Texas game was one of the main ones, but I didn't even watch it because it's irrelevant. To me, it's
Yeah.
irrelevant. And so like one of the pieces is like kind of the demise of the bowl games.
They did say that
Um
if they do go to 16 teams, that the first games will be played at the home stadiums of the teams instead of like a bowl.
so there's questions of automatic qualifiers. That's a big thing. Like, is it just going to be the first team in the conference to be an automatic qualifier, or is it going to be like more than that? Is it going to be the home field advantage? Of course, those are some of like the main factor that they're pulling in. I don't know if I really have a dog in the fight between the 12 and 16 games. I think my beef is more with the ranking system, and that you have this committee, the college football playoff committee, that does a whole bunch of ranking that doesn't seem completely objective. If I were trying to revamp anything, it wouldn't necessarily be how many teams that are going to participate. It would more so be how we rank those teams. And so that's kind of my beef with the whole college football playoffs in general.
So when they when they first came out with the 14 playoff, I always said they needed to go to 8. And then instead of going to 8, they went to what, 10? And
No, I think it just went from 4 to 12. I
what
thought
to
it
12,
did. I
sorry.
thought it
Yeah,
just
they
went
went to
for
12. I like the move to 16 personally. I think it's good because there's so many teams in college.
There are
Um
so many teams, so
so
many.
it would just, it would eliminate that, oh, well, they didn't, cuz as you see now, the powerhouse teams aren't winning when it's a playoff. So that goes to show, you got to play to win it.
Right,
You got to earn it more. But yeah,
right,
I
right.
like 16. I think it's a good number.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, because like, I mean, it's more so like gravitating toward almost like a March Madness. It's kind of like I feel like it should be more like March Madness, I guess. And you know, I guess you could still have some Cinderella teams involved, but I'm not anti 16 teams. I'm let's figure the hell out what the rankings are,
Yeah.
because I mean, A&M had slipped to, I think, number 7. It's like because it makes such a big difference when we talk about matchups. And we still should have won that game. I know. I've been complaining about A&M losing that game. But it's just, I just feel like there's too much subjectivity in it, and we got to figure something out. But another thing, go ahead.
So I think that might be part of the answer to the problem too, though. If you add more teams, there's less of the should they get in, should they not, because the record, it'll kind of just work itself out.
Right. I guess if you add more teams, then the chances that maybe if you did slip in the rankings, maybe you'll catch a break against the team that you should beat anyway, and then make it past them. I don't know. I like I said, my beef is more with the rankings than anything else. But I'm not anti 16 teams, but I am pro SEC, showing everybody who's boss, unless it's Alabama. Unless it's Alabama, then like we can leave that. And I also would like LSU to do poorly this year, because I was actually really pulling for Ole Miss to win, because I really wanted to see what that story looked like if Ole Miss made it. And I would still be pulling for Indiana had Ole Miss made it, to the championship, because, like I said, I have family ties to Indiana.
Mm.
But it would have been a great story for Lane Kiffin to have abandoned his team to go to LSU, a better team, to seek a national championship. And And then for Ole Miss to, like, go all the way to even win the championship,
Yeah.
chef's kiss. You can't write a better story than that.
Yeah,
You
they'd have made a movie
cannot.
off of that.
Yes, they woulda had to. You woulda it would be a movie. It would 100% be a movie. I would have
Yeah.
loved to see that, but it didn't happen. Indiana's there. I'm going Indiana. Let's go Hoosiers all the way. And not just because I have an axe to grind against Miami. Anyway, but other issues with college sports. Today's the 16th that we're filming this. I think today is the last day for the transfer portal. Some of these teams ended up having, almost their entire roster enter the transfer portal. There's been so many moving parts. It's been an extremely stressful time for college coaches and college fans probably alike. And it's something that has to get under control. And I know I talked about that last episode as well. But like we have got to get our hands around college sports. Some of the stereotypes that we associate with professional sports, like
Mhm.
people aren't playing with heart or people aren't,
Yeah.
like they're not hungry or they're not, some of the narratives that go around that.
They say they're playing harder because 'cause they're not getting paid and all that kinda stuff.
Right. I want to see, and I totally 100% am with NIL deals. I'm with kids getting paid. I'm with all of that. But we have got to get our hands around college sports. Everything from, like I said, the college football committee rankings to the transfer portal to just regulating things in general. Like I want everybody to get their bag, but like gotta get on some kind of level playing field, if you will. Um, no pun intended. Uh, so of course, social media person. I'm on social media all the time. Well, Instagram mostly, and I follow this page called Blitz Alert. Shout out to Blitz Alert. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about you guys some days because you could like give me a heart attack at times or kind of like make me super confused. So Blitz Alerts is this Instagram page that literally posts an image, typically of a player in like one word captions. And I'm always like, huh, like, what? It confuses me, and then I kind of have to read the caption or like do more research. It kind of does make me like look more into it because it hooks me, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it'd be like so and so like dead or something. Like, I mean, it'll be like fired. It'll be stuff that you're just like, what? And then you have to like go research it more, but it grabs your attention. So it gave me an idea that we should do some one word caption um pictures. So we're gonna go through some now. The first one, Aaron Rodgers. Old.
Mm.
Yeah, old.
And
Old, yes. Aaron Rodgers is old. He's great. He's Hall of Fame. He's the guy. He's the man, or he was. But our Texans
took him out.
really made him feel it. And you know what? Credit to Aaron Rodgers, though. I'll say this. I'll say this. For all of the stories that are floating around about Aaron Rodgers at the end of that game, because the camera was following him, because obviously it's like a big question whether or not he's going to retire, which he should because he's old, right?
Yeah.
We just covered that. But it was like they wanted some kind of reaction or some kind of statement out of him. So the camera's following him. But I could see him approaching, not just players approaching him, but him approaching Texans defensive players and literally like giving them a hug, dabbing him up, saying a few words. And I was just like, oh, this is
Mm.
classy. I kind of like this. I
I
like this
actually
for
missed
Aaron
that.
Rodgers.
I'm surprised I missed
Cause
that.
yeah, no, it was actually like very respectful. And I was like, yeah, you better freaking respect us
Yeah.
because we just whooped your
You got no
ass.
choice.
Our
You
D
got no choice but to respect us.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers has this reputation for not being like the nicest guy or kind of like, we don't have a great opinion of Aaron Rodgers in general. I think most people don't. And so to see him kind of like, giving credit where credit is due, I enjoyed seeing that. So shout out to Aaron Rodgers. You are old. You should definitely retire. But yeah, I appreciated seeing that. Okay. So let's go to the
With
next one.
Tomlin stepping down, I'm sure he's gonna retire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else he wants to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right. Michael Irvin. I just got off of my Miami soapbox here. Michael Irvin. Okay. Obnoxious. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I am going to get killed behind this. Although y'all do know that I hate the Cowboys. I do hate the Cowboys. People love this like mascot Michael Irving, and I find it super obnoxious. I'm sorry, I cannot deal. It's over the top. I'm already a person that does not like the over the top gimmicks. But when he comes
Yeah.
out here and pulls this belt out, I mean, of course, it really rubbed me the wrong way when he did that in Kyle Field, but I'm tired. I'm tired, y'all.
Yeah.
And then I just found out he actually has a Netflix show, which, okay, this is another bone I can pick, is that Netflix is putting out a Michael Irving podcast, but it's on Netflix. Let's be clear,
They're
guys.
starting to do podcasts now.
A podcast, but it's on Netflix. See, podcasts are supposed to be something that you can listen to and not have to see. As my friend, my good friend Jay Connor and I were talking about this earlier this week, but you should be able to listen and not have to see anything and still know what's going on. So what is Netflix doing by doing a
So
podcast that's on TV?
I will say this: since COVID, visual podcasts have been making a ton of money, and Netflix
But
is
it's
getting into
not
this
a
space now.
podcast. It is a show. This is a
Gotcha.
show. I will always say that it is a show. I got my dog. Look, I got my dog all upset now. This
So,
is literally, it irks me so much because it is a show. If you have to watch
so
it,
is he gonna
I
be like
encourage you to
interviewing
watch
people
it.
or what? Because I hadn't
I
heard
have no
about it. Is he
idea.
gonna
I
be?
have no idea
Oh,
what is going on, but I think he talks about like current events. So it does sound like a
mm,
podcast because it's like going to be weekly or,
mhm.
whatever. But
But it's
I
really a
also took
show.
note of the name because it's called something at the White House. And so, which is kind of like iffy right now because the kind of political times. It's not at the White House, but at the White House.
Yeah, I was just
If
gonna
you know
say
what I
there's a
mean. And so,
stigma
like,
to
I
that.
did not
Yeah,
know because I'm not a Cowboys fan. I did not follow professional football in the 90s. And I did not know that his party house was called the White House. I mean, it
yeah,
makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
yeah,
However, in the times we're living in, I do see it being a little problematic calling his
yeah.
podcast something at the White House because,
No,
geez,
he's pretty notorious about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
But you obviously know who will not be watching Michael Irvin's podcast because I want no parts. It's just like Stephen A. Smith. I want no parts. Like, leave the antics at home, leave the theatrics at home. I'm good. Like, thank you for your service as like a Hall of Famer and so forth. Not really because I hate the Cowboys, but I'll pass. All right. Next. What? Me? Yeah, I am old. I am old. I am. I can admit it. I'm becoming so set in my ways. Look at how I just ranted about Michael Irving like this. Like young people don't do that.
I feel
I'm getting
you.
old and set in my ways. I am.
I
Sad
feel you.
times we live in.
I'm setting mine too, 100%. So I, trust me, I
It's
understand that.
pervasive amongst us millennials and zennials. I'm a zennial with the X because I'm a geriatric millennial. All right, what's up next? Justin Herbert. He is relaxing because he is on vacation. Which I hear he has a very lovely. I don't really keep up with pop culture like that, but I think he has a very lovely girlfriend or wife that people discuss a lot. But he is on vacation and rightfully so because
Yeah.
why do we
Well,
talk
they
about him so
started going
much?
downhill after they beat Dallas, then they lost to us, and then they lost to the Pats,
Listen,
obviously, in the
I
playoffs.
don't want to hear people wasting their breath so much talking about how good. What did I call him Michael Herbert? Justin Herbert. If I said that, it
I
might have
think
been
it's
my
good.
little pre-episode drink. But
Yeah.
anyhow,
I think you said just
I
tonight.
can do I think I can do without the Justin Herbert talk.
Yeah.
I just don't think he I don't think he's done anything for us to continue this conversation like he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league. I understand, like, on paper, there are quarterbacks that are like great. Like, I understand that, like, and nothing, and I know he was hurt. I'm not using him as an example of a quarterback. I'm just saying, like, on paper, Joe Burrow is kind of like your perfect quarterback, right?
Mhm.
But Justin Herbert, like, I have not seen anything from him. Can we please stop putting him in the annals of, like, quarterbackism? Like,
Yeah.
why do we have to keep having the Justin Herbert conversation? Let's not. He's on vacation. He's in Cancun. He's, you know, he's out. He's done. He's done for the
Yeah.
season. All right, next up. Zion, fertile, fertile. There was another story that came out, and again, I'm not like big. Like, honestly, I have unfollowed. Like, I don't follow any gossip pages. So it's only sports pages that come up or people that send me stuff, and I'm like, Jesus, Zion.
So
Like, he's
what is it
barely
saying about him?
playing.
I heard about the one. They're
Well,
saying he had,
a girl put him on her Instagram story. He's like cleaning up stuff, and she has like a little Instagram like video. She's like, "I told you that this is my baby daddy" or something, and I'm just
messy.
like, "Bro is making more babies than buckets," and I'm like, "What are we
I believe
doing?"
they're
He
saying he
came
have.
out trying to. I don't even know. I don't
Oh.
know. Although it probably isn't more than
Oh, it's
Anthony
definitely
Edwards, but
already
Anthony
out.
Edwards has been balling.
I,
Look, look, you can make as many babies as you want if you are balling, but you are not.
yeah.
You are not balling. So
Anthony
we
Edwards,
gotta chill.
that's a whole nother. He's
Yeah,
on a whole
Anthony
nother.
Edwards, but he's balling. So like we don't even have to.
Yeah.
All right, all right. The next one. Ah, the NCAA. That's all you can say. It's a whole bunch of question marks. Like, what are we doing? And I've
Yeah.
already covered that. But what are we doing, guys? Like, can we just get on so can we have some semblance of order around here? Like, what's really going
They'll
on?
figure it out, and
Anyway,
they'll figure it out. I'm sure they'll figure it. I think they'll
I
figure
mean
it
they
out.
have to, because like right
Yeah.
now, like it's like we're going downhill. We're going
Yeah.
downhill fast. Um, anyway, shout out to Blitz Alerts. I think that's the name of the page. Blitz Alerts, because they always keep me on my toes. I get kind of irritated, but they keep me on my toes. So, all right, now I know the moment that you've been waiting for, Corey, my fellow in not in arms, but in I'll say battle red in um is the NFL wild card, and then the impending playoffs, because our Texans are doing it. And I know that, I'll be texting you during the game because I'm getting worried. I'm like, and then CJ Stroud, like, first of all, he's not even a quarterback that doesn't really like take care of the ball like that. And
Yeah.
like all of a sudden it was just like like, like strip, like what?
It was a bad game. He had a
It,
bad
it,
game, but I think people are overreacting. He made a lot of mistakes, but he converted a lot of third downs and kept the
yes.
defense rested and kept the Steelers off the field. He had a bad game, but he knows that. But he didn't
Yeah.
lose the game. And we've had quarterbacks straight
Yeah.
lose the game. I don't think he needs to be the quarterback he was his rookie year right now, because our defense is on a whole nother level. So he needs to be good enough not to throw the game away. He'll clean it up, and he'll do good this week, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him going back to back weeks doing what he did last game. And again, I think like the optics are that okay, yes, we saw some bad things, but like you said, he's converting on third down and keeping the opponent off the field and stuff like that. Personally, and I think, and I'm not sure if Marcus Spears was one. I felt like it was his voice, but I wasn't sure. But somebody did make the statement that like he's not gonna run for it a few yards, like even though he could. And I do feel like he could. And I know it's kind of ironic me wanting that from him when I believe back when, and it's like a total meme, of course, now, was that when the Texans played the Bears and he
Mm.
went up and spoke to Caleb Williams, it was like, hey, don't put your body on the line, and then everybody keeps bringing that up every time, like, Caleb Williams is like doing well and like CJ's not doing well. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's been so many days since he said this to Caleb Williams. And like, so I understand his feeling that like he doesn't want to sacrifice his body, but like this is the playoffs. So like if I had one ask, like if you can go get 3 or 4 extra yards, go do it. And again, I mean, I've never played football, I've never coached football, but it would just be nice to see him use his legs at least now because it's do or die. But I do think that the optics kind of misrepresent, and if you go look at like the stats and so forth, like he's not a bad quarterback. So I think the narratives are kind of out of control.
So I agree with you. Um, I will say this: the last time he ran, he had a concussion, was out for 3 days, 3 games.
Oh, was it for
um,
money?
that wasn't the last time he ran, but it was like one of the last times he ran. It was when he got that concussion. He was out for 3 games.
Yeah, I guess that's a good. He better put on. Oh, that's another thing. There's been a lot of viral talk about the. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget the name of the helmet because I keep wanting to call it the command
Oh,
helmet, but
The
it's
Guardian
not.
cap,
The Guardian cap. I knew it was something like that. I knew it was like,
yeah,
yeah. So Jalen Petrie wears the Guardian cap, and like everybody's been making a big deal because he had an awesome game. I mean, he's had an awesome season. He's an awesome player.
yeah, he has.
Shout out to Jalen Petrie who went to Baylor, and my nephew just signed with Baylor thanks to the transfer portal. My nephew, shout
Nice,
out to my nephew Stilton
congrats.
McKelvey, cornerback, now a cornerback for Baylor. But Jalen Petrie went to Baylor, and yeah, he wears the Guardian cap, and I think he might be the only one on the Texans that wears it.
I think so
And
too.
but anyway,
Don't want
he's
to get from the
awesome.
field anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, but he's awesome. The whole defense is awesome. Like we could like go down the list and we're like it's kind of listening. This is super biased. Like the
Yeah,
Texas defense is like listening to most of Drake's albums. Like you could go down the list and they're all hits. There are no skips. Like that's how much I love. I'm likening the Texans defense to a Drake album. That's how I feel about it. But me and you were having this conversation the other day. So the Seahawks, who have an amazing defense, have deemed their defense the dark side, which I guess is a
mm,
reference to like Star Wars or something. I don't know. I
yeah,
don't watch Star Wars.
most likely. Yeah,
Yeah, so but I still thought it was a little, I'm like, it's a little wordy. It's a little, I don't know. And so, like,
yeah.
we were brainstorming some ideas like, wait, do the Texans have a name for their defense? Because, like, at A&M when I was there, which there wasn't a whole lot of great things going on at A&M, we had the Wrecking Crew. It was called the Wrecking Crew, was our defense, right?
Mhm.
Of course, Seattle, their old defense, the Legion of Boom. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you know any other defensive names that have come out.
Uh,
Um, but but we were
maybe
but we were
Steel
discussing
Curtain.
what could be a potential name for the Texans defense. And I know what they do. I know that when you're at the games, they call it swarm. They swarm,
Yeah,
which is, I guess that's kind of like a nickname because it's a nickname for what they do. But then
yeah.
we were like, why do we not have a defense nickname? Like this is like a legendary defense. And so I had actually asked Chad. I'm not gonna lie, I asked Chad And Chat came up with bullpen, the
Mhm.
bullpen, which I get, it's not like, and then when we were talking, you came up with the
Bull
Bull
Nelson.
Nelson, which people would really have to like know what the full. I don't think like younger generations would know what
Yeah,
a
what the
full
full
Nelson is.
Nelson is.
But
Yeah.
the Bull Nelson, I actually like that because I'm a pun person.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of like with you. I might just start calling him that, the Bull
Bull
Nelson.
Nelson, yeah.
But
He's a bully. They're
uh,
bullies.
yeah. They are. And Bulls on parade, as we know,
Yeah,
is something that we say about the Texans. Um, but oh geez, I mean I could talk about the Texans all day. Obviously we don't often get in these these positions where we're making it, further in the playoffs. But I do like our chances against New England.
it's gonna
And
be a good day.
so yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Put some extra padding on Drake May. I don't know. I don't know, but I expect our defense to come out there and be the defense that they always are.
Yeah,
So I'm excited. I'm excited for the game. I mean, I'm proud of my team either way because
yeah, me too.
like we were
So
0
we,
3. We were 0 3, baby,
yeah,
co-
yeah.
coming in the season.
And you know what? A lot of people were panicking. A lot of people were saying sell the team, and I was like, y'all relax. I said the last time we were 0-3, we won 9 straight. And we didn't win, 9 straight from that point, but we ended up winning 10 straight a little after that. So people
Yeah.
like to panic. I'm like, we got a
This
new
is
offensive coordinator.
yes.
This we got a whole new
This is
offensive
CJ's
line.
third offensive coordinator. I mean, like he hasn't been in
Second,
the league that long.
this is second
Huh?
because we had Slowick
I
for
think
2 years. Bobby Slowick was his rookie year, and then and the second year.
but with Slowick that he was the OC then?
Yeah, wasn't he? Yeah, his
I'm not
rookie
sure.
year. I thought he was. I,
Okay.
I, I could be wrong.
Well,
I could be wrong, but I thought
well,
Bobby Sloak was his rookie year and his second year, and then they fired him because the second
yeah.
year he wasn't doing it good.
Yeah, which I mean, we could still kind of debate if that was even a good thing. Again, there's only so many plays you can call, honestly. There's only so many plays that like you can work into your game plan. um so I mean I don't know, coaching. We're about to get on coaching, which by the way, the Cardinals have requested to interview the Texans defensive coordinator Matt Burke.
Ooh.
So but to me I'm like, we have a defensive head coach and we have the
Yeah,
talent. So,
uh,
I mean, if you get a better opportunity, but you kind of see, hey, some ex Texans went over to the Cardinals, and
we
I don't
we
know, it
have
didn't work out too good for them.
we
Too
have a
good for
defensive
them.
head coach, but honestly, they started playing better when the defensive coordinator started calling the plays.
Well,
That was like,
hey, I
yeah,
if he, I'm grateful for his coaching, but I still think we'll be on a good foot. If he decides to make a change or whatever. I don't know why you'd want to go
I
to the
hope they don't.
Cardinals, but I
I hate to be
I mean,
selfish,
hey.
but I hope they don't. I hope they don't go nowhere.
But anyway, yeah, so that brings me to coaching changes. Obviously, this has been like NBA free agency. Like this is
Yeah.
insane, the amount of teams, and then the way that it was kind of like staggered because you have the bulk of your firings that happen on Black Monday, and then like maybe a trickle of some. But like Mike McDaniel's literally just got fired like what, last week. I mean, you have like juggernauts of coaches out here. I mean, obviously John Harbaugh. I mean, it seems like at this hour he's kind of finalizing some deal with the Giants,
Mhm.
which I thought maybe that he would go somewhere with maybe like I won't say a better. I mean, I don't know that much about Jackson Dart, so I'm not going to get on here and talk too much about it, but like maybe a better quarterback situation. So I think he's going to end up with the Giants. But then, oh, but we have Mike McDaniel and then Mike Tomlin like stepping down. From what I've been hearing, like on podcasts, it sounds like Mike Tomlin is either just going to retire or he's going to do media with CBS.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I don't think
which
he's gonna coach
is
anymore.
kind of bizarre to me because he doesn't seem like a very media it's almost like if you said that Bill Belichick was gonna start doing like media. It just doesn't seem like natural for him. But I mean, he could have something under his sleeve, and we've just never really seen it like that. And maybe he's the guy to get on there, the analyst to get on there and really just break through all the BS. You know what I mean? So
That would be
that might be
comic
kind of
relief.
exciting. We'll all be tuning in. I know I will.
That would be comic
Um,
relief if if Bill Belichick was.
I know Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin.
Uh,
That would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah. So we still have Mike McDaniel, of course. A lot of people are predicting that he'll probably go to an OC position, maybe not a head coach position.
he's a
Let's
great
see who
OC.
else.
He was a great OC.
Yeah. Right. That was a very exciting Miami team for a little while there.
Yeah,
So obviously the Raiders are, looking for a coach.
yeah. Pete Carroll was only
Atlanta's
there
looking
one
for a
year.
coach. Um,
The Titans.
the
Uh,
Titans.
Ryan Callahan was going.
I know there was a little bit of talk about the possibility of Matt LaFleur getting fired, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah,
The
so
Cardinals.
there's still like a lot of like balls in the air here. No pun intended. But
Yeah,
there's a lot going on, and usually the coaching hiring window is pretty short as well. So we should start seeing some hires come through. Like I said already, we see Harbaugh is probably finalizing a deal with the Giants, but it's gonna be interesting to see. And like I not since I've been really paying attention to football have I seen so much like movement within coaching, and then people are really starting to talk about like how all these coaches relate to each other and the coaching trees and who came up under who. And so it's kind of interesting to see all of that. It's kind of like clubs, like coach clubs that are going on, around here. And yeah, I would like our whole coaching staff at the Texans to stay intact if possible, but we'll have to see what happens.
our defensive
um
coordinator will end up getting a head coaching opportunity at some point. I just hope it's not next year. I just want just give us another year with him first, and then
Yeah.
let him
Yeah,
bring
for us to
somebody
go
else.
back to back Super Bowls. I can't wink, but you know what I'm trying to do. Go
Yeah.
back to back Super Bowls. All right, Corey, scale of 1 to 10, where do you see the Texans making the Super Bowl?
The chance
Yeah, the chance. I like
8.
1 to 10, 1 to 10.
I
An
say 8.
8?
Yeah, I'll say 8.
Okay. I'm going 7. I'm going to be like a little more modest because I'm not used to being here,
Well, the reason I said 8 is because I was told to never pick 7 when they say 1 through 10. So it's either 6 or 8.
Really?
Yeah.
And I picked 7. I probably messed this up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might
No,
be
it's like,
bad
well, the
luck.
reason they say never pick 7, that's always the safe answer. And so people
Oh,
when
that's
they
the
tell you
safe
don't pick
answer.
7, 7 is always
I am risk averse, so a 7 it is for me.
gotcha.
Anyway, all right. Well, that just about does it for me. The hot seat with Holly Heat. Please like, share, subscribe, and please comment. I want to hear your comments. What do you want me to talk about? I know I haven't been talking about basketball that much, y'all, but I'm going to try to get back into it, especially with the news that Ja Morant can move around. I love Ja Morant. I want to see Ja Morant come back. Anyhow, thank you to my producer, Corey, for joining me, and fellow Texans and Rockets fan, Corey. We didn't get into the Rockets. I know they've been in a little bit of slump right now, but maybe we'll get into that in a future episode. So anyway, thank you all for joining me, and see you next time on the Hot Seat with Holly Heat.